Hello my producers, and welcome now to Shout Out Wednesday. Post a comment or ask a question at soulground.tv in the Taurus viewing room, and I'll do my best to shout back or answer your question 1 week later. Well, it looks like it is a two-part emotional day. As we wake up, your emotions and your intellect are still kind of co-triggering each other. That new moon that we went through in the last 2 days has been intense, and what it's intensely doing is making us emotional about mind games and vice versa, basically. Mind games triggering us to be emotional. And this is the universe kind of showing Tauruses, hey, that's what it's about this month. It's about eliminating our mind games, getting out of our mind games, and us becoming in control of our mind instead of our mind being in control of us. Now, that said, Jupiter is ruling the day today, which means the solution of the day is simply to understand you have other options. Just knowing you have other options. You don't have to speak to yourself that way. You don't have to think about the past. You don't have to obsess about whether or not the door is locked, even though you've gone up and locked it 45 times. You don't have to be this way, and knowing that you don't have to will make it feel a bit better. Then finally, the moon will move into Leo the second half of the day, which means Tauruses are going to get really cozy. It'll be nesting and resting, and 2 days of nesting and resting, so it's a great time really for Tauruses to invest in their home, invest in their groundedness, invest in their foundation, the potting soil of your soul garden. Then finally, for a shout out comes from our director of Tauruses, Jean-Marie, who talks about or brought to me a question from Keegan. Now, last week we actually answered Keegan's question about the difference between a rising sign and a sun sign, and what is it that people see. And Keegan kind of followed up with this and said, basically, what do I have, a sign in my head that says, you know, screw with me? Is that my rising that's constantly triggering people, or is that my sun sign that's triggering people? You know what it probably is, Keegan? It's definitely your rising sign, no two ways about it. And you might have Pluto in the first house. If you have Pluto or Uranus in the first house, you're a person that always is unsettling others. And that's the point. What happens from that, if you happen to have it, look at your natal chart, is that you unsettle other people because you're learning how to have a stronger ego in this life, and those people needed to be unsettled. So if you're finding that you're always dealing with those types of people, remember, what you put out there is what you get back, but it may also be a lifelong study of Pluto in the first. Perhaps you should get a reading. All right, that's all I have for the day. I'll see you folks tomorrow with more. Live, love, be. So